remember that moment and that choice that you made all of the days before that, because those matter. All of the days after that choice, whatever it is, whether it's working out, the food that you're eating, drinking or not drinking, whatever your choice is, spending money, not spending money, you have the power, not that choice. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Stacia Lunders, and I started a podcast called Be Real back in the beginning of 2025. And let's just say it's been an experience for me. I'm kind of just learning YouTube and learning what I like and what I don't like and what I want to put out there into the world. And I have enjoyed so much. I've learned so much in this last year. And that's what brought me to conclude my 2025, because I've been thinking a lot about it. Just negative thoughts started coming into my mind. I started thinking about how I wish I was in an even better spot. I kept thinking about how I feel like I've failed doing my Be Real podcast and my YouTube channel and my social media. All of these things started coming into my mind, and it got me thinking, how often do we start reflecting on our lives and we go straight to that negative spot? Because we're always wanting something more, and we're never satisfied with how far we've come. We're never satisfied. We don't think about the challenges that we have already faced. And we create this negative scenario in our mind that we're just not good enough. So I started to reframe my 2025, and I want to go over 10 things that hit in the most beautiful way. Because when I actually started to think about 2025 in a more positive way, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background, but he's playing with a bone, so it's kind of loud. If you can, just that's life, right? Because this is real. That's what it's all about. If you can't hear him, then it's just me gonna be listening to him, and he's distracting me, so it will be what it will be. But I thought about 10 things, and as I was actually started to think about these 10 things in a more positive light, it completely shifted how I viewed 2025. So let's dive into these. The first thing I realized in a more positive light, because I still struggle with this. However, when I stop to think about how far I have come, it is leaps and bounds from where I was at. And the first thing that comes to mind is food. Because food has been such a huge struggle for me. So looking back, starting in 2025 was when I started to experiment a little bit with food. I started weighing it. I was writing it down. Now, am I doing that now? No. But even taking those months that I did the beginning of 2025 to weigh my peanut butter or get a tablespoon and get the grams out, so yeah, I guess weighing. It opened up my eyes and allowed me to see food in a different way. Not good or not bad, just in a different light. And that was so eye-opening to me. And it's not something that I would have even thought about, but I've come such a far way. I was a binge eater, like really bad. And I realized that I used food to try to comfort me in ways that food would never fulfill. I try to comfort myself when I was feeling hurt, when I was feeling lonely, when I was bored, all of these reasons to eat food instead of using food as fuel. Do I still overeat? Heck yeah. I'm not here to try to tell you I have it all figured out. What I can say though is from where I came from 2025 to where I am now is leaps and bounds, because I took the time to focus on something that was important to me. And now food has not been as loud. Food has been a lot more stable in my life, and using it as fuel instead of using it as a crutch. Number 2 is that all or nothing mindset. I bet a lot of you can relate to that all or nothing mindset. 2025 has shifted the way that I think about and use that all or nothing mindset. Okay. So I would be like, have this plan and I would stick to it and I would do so good. And I would have my morning routine and bam, I would sleep in one morning. So that one morning that I slept in ruined all of that progress. Everything that I had worked towards ruined because of that one day that I slept in. Then I would start living in the shame and the guilt and I'm never going to get this figured out. I suck kind of mentality. So guess what I would do? Not do it at all. All or nothing, right? So if you can relate to that, you are able to overcome that all or nothing mindset. It's something that I am still working on. However, I've come so far because number 1, I simply allow myself to just sleep in some days. Some days our body just needs it. Sometimes our minds need it. And it is okay. So learning to give yourself a little bit of grace, learning to be patient with yourself while you're learning something new. And sometimes there's just seasons in life where waking up early and getting a workout in and getting a morning routine in feels easy. It's aligned. It feels nice. And there's other times in other seasons in your life where it just doesn't. And that is okay. In learning to adjust and realign, not restart, or readjust and realign to what's fitting in your life right now. That leads me to number 3, because one choice does not undo everything. This was hard. This one's a hard one to wrap your mind around. But having those anchored thoughts and focusing on the smaller goals, starting to choose one meal that you want to make sure it's balanced. The other 2 meals are not going to undo that one good meal. Those are stepping stones to get you to where you need to be. And that's something that is taking me a very long time to learn. Still working on it. Still have to remind myself that one choice does not ruin all of those other good choices. So don't give up and keep readjusting and realigning. That's truly what it's all about. Number 4, okay? Oh boy, this one I am slowly working on. So this one I started to adjust the end up, literally actually, let's be real here. I started working on this in December. This is around money. And money feels different when I am choosing to face it instead of avoiding the things that are holding me back. So for example, like my debt. I have gotten myself into a lot of debt. And for what? For what? Well, it's because my relationship with money has not always been well. And you know that saying, like, money is the root of all evil? That is how I have been raised. And I'm learning to shift and adjust those thoughts and also allowing myself to budget, allowing myself to see the actual income that I have and how I can actually make progress. So number 4, again, is money feels different when you choose to face it instead of just completely avoiding it. Number 5 is learning to get a little bit more uncomfortable. Now, you don't have to get uncomfortable every single day, but one of the most uncomfortable things that I did in 2025 has probably been one of the best decisions that I ever made, and that was going to a women's retreat. This women's retreat, I knew 0 people, 0. And I went to Arizona. I live in South Dakota, and I went to Arizona with 9 other women. Actually, okay, let me rephrase that. 8 other women. I was the 9th. So I went with 8 other women who I've never met. And that choice to get uncomfortable and go to that women's retreat was the best choice that I could have made for myself. It helped realign and rewrite so many different things in my mind that I've been holding on to, and just letting go of trauma and pain that I've been masking and just pushing down forever. So if I can encourage you, myself, get uncomfortable. It does suck for a little bit because you're unsure. You're unsure about what to expect when you're uncomfortable. Which actually leads me to number 6. Learning how to be neutral in your uncertainty. There's so many times in my life that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what my life's going to look like. I don't know what my next choice is going to be. I don't know about this YouTube Be Real podcast. I love doing it because I love sharing the things that I'm learning. And my ultimate goal is just to want to help other women who are suffering, because I have freaking been there and it sucks. So learning just to rewrite that story in my mind when I don't know, and learning to be content and be okay with not knowing. It's been an adjustment and so freeing to just be okay when I don't know. Number 7, I was going to show you number 7, but I'm holding the mic also, so it didn't really work out for me. Either way, we're on number 7. And number 7 brings me to finding the truth about routines. Small, big, whatever. Routines are not actually what's going to change your life. You can have all of the freaking routines that you want in your life. That's not going to completely change your life. Is it going to help? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is it good to have routines? Absolutely. I have my morning routine, I have my night routine, and do I utilize them? Yes. But what has actually shifted and changed my life is learning to trust myself in those routines. Let me say that again. Learning to trust myself in those routines. Because when you set routines, the whole goal is to follow through with them, right? So that second you don't follow through, which goes back to that all or nothing mindset, it makes you feel unworthy and just unlovable. Because if I can't even follow through with the things that I say I'm going to follow through with, how in the hell is anybody else going to love me or respect me or see my value, right? So learning to love yourself again, and not because of the routines you're doing, but because the trust that you're building with yourself every single day. Whether you show up or whether you miss a day, knowing your worth is not based off of the routine that you had, your plan, your goal. Your worth is not valued off of that. Your worth is valued for who you are in your heart, who you are in your mind, and who you can show up as every single day. And that's been a beautiful thing. And something that I struggle with. I struggle with knowing my worth, because as I grew up, my worth was based off of how good I was. And this is nothing against my parents or anything like that. This is my own life and my own way of viewing how I grew up. And, we grew up as Baptist, as Christians, and it was like, you can't sin. If you sin, you have to repent. So you're always striving and reaching these goals that are almost unattainable, because we all know we sin. We all know that we mess up. And so as I was growing up, I realized that my worth was in doing good. If I did good, then people would think that I was good. My worth is in my heart. It's in my mind, and it's how I show up. We're on to number 8. And number 8 sticks out to me because a lot of people talk about patience. Sometimes we have it, sometimes we don't, especially when you have kids, little ones, older ones, anything. But it's not necessarily about patience. It's about not needing to rush to make a decision. I have always, and I can say this, I have always been super reactive in the moment. Learning to pause, learning to breathe, and learning not to rush into a decision has been life-changing. So yes, patience, but it's just learning to sit in what you feel. If you're feeling hurt, your first reaction is to hurt back, right? Why? What's that going to solve? How are you going to be a better person by hurting somebody when you're hurt? So learning how to not rush a decision has been life-changing. Number 9, learning how to not be perfect. Now, nobody's perfect. We've kind of already talked about that. However, there's this strive. Even when I think about like doing these podcasts, oh my gosh, I have to say the right thing. I have to do the right thing. I have to act a certain way and all these things. And it's all this perception that you put on yourself that you have to be this perfect way. Why? We're okay. It is okay. I'm okay to live in this imperfect, beautiful, messy life. Because what actually is perfect anyways? Perfect is only how you perceive it in your mind. Because what's perfect for you could not be perfect for somebody else. So remember that. What are you actually trying to be perfect for? And who for? And what for? So learning how to just be imperfectly perfect. Which brings me to my last and final is living alcohol-free. Living alcohol-free has completely changed my life these past 4 months. I've been 134 days sober. So here's something that I want to talk about and address because this points to some of my other lessons that I learned in 2025. Throughout these days that I've been sober, there was one time that I did drink, and I chose to drink more than what I should have or whatever. If should have, could have, whatever. Either way, I drank, okay? So during this time that I drank, prior to learning all of these things that I've been learning, I would have said all of those days prior to don't matter. And now I'm just back to drinking. That's exactly how my mindset would think. And I know I'm not alone. I know that you have felt that way. So taking that step back and saying, you know what? I did drink and I'm going to accept it. And you know what? I did not love it. I did not love it. I actually got really sick, which was a blessing in disguise. Because now all I can think about when I do think about wanting to have a drink or drinking or whatever, I'm like, I did do that one time and it did not feel good. So what's the point? What's the purpose? Now, drinking or not drinking, that's not for everybody, and it's fine. This is my journey in 2025, and maybe one of these things can help you grow and help you see your 2025 in a different light instead of being so negative towards yourself. So instead of restarting and saying, "Oh, well, since I drank, I have to start all over." No, you know what? I have been sober for 135 days or 134, something like that. And I'm going to stick to that because that one choice, that one decision did not derail all of the choices before, and it's not going to derail all the choices after. So if you're struggling with making that choice and then feeling like you mess up, remember that. Remember that moment and that choice that you made all of the days before that, because those matter. All of the days after that choice, whatever it is, whether it's working out, the food that you're eating, drinking or not drinking, whatever your choice is, spending money, not spending money, you have the power, not that choice, not that one decision that was made. That's not your power. Your power is everything before and everything after. So how are you going to move forward? The other thing is, when my husband gets a drink and it looks good, I'm like, I want to try that. What do? I take a sip of it. I'm alcohol free. And I am going to say that, and I'm going to stand in it. And I'm also going to be real and let you know how my journey is looking. Because making that choice was not easy. But what I realized is that alcohol was not serving me at all anymore. In fact, it was so detrimental in my life because I used it kind of like I used food. I used it to not feel. I used it to escape. Some people don't. Some people can drink and just have fun and go do their thing. That's fine. However, for me, I realized and learned that it was not doing me any good favors. So I've chosen to give it up, and it has been so good. Has it been easy? Hell no. It has not at all. In fact, it has made me feel things that I don't want to feel. I do not want to feel some of the things that I'm feeling. However, the beautiful thing is I'm learning to work through those feelings instead of numbing, instead of trying to avoid, and learning that it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to feel bored. It's okay to be lonely and just to work through those feelings in a beautiful way. So that was my 10 lessons for 2025. There were many, many, many more, but those were the 10 that stuck out the most. I hope that you can look back on your 2025 and find peace. They say 2025 was the year of the snake and the year of the shedding. I felt that. I felt that huge because there were so many layers that I was shedding in 2025. And it was such a beautiful thing. Not easy. It's been hard, but that's the beautiful thing about it. You put in the work and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually have adjusted and changed and working towards who I want to be. And when you look at your 2025, if you start thinking those negative thoughts like I was, just pause. It's okay. You're not broken. You're not alone. You're human. Just readjust those thoughts, realign them, and just really think about your 2025 in a positive light and bring that into your 2026, because 2026 is the year of the horse, which is momentum, growth, building, and that's what 2026 should look like. So if any of these 10 things hit, please take them, use them, continue to work on yourself, and remember that you're not alone, and always be real.